What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sportscast. It's me, Andy Grant. I've got Gary Judge with me from Across the Park podcast. Why are you looking at me?
Why do you think I'm looking at you like that?
We've got Muskie, who's going to be producing the show, and we are in the feathers again. Massive thank you to the lads there. And Hayley, who've been amazing, letting us use this again around our schedules, which has worked perfect. And if you haven't been down to check it out, make sure you do. I was in here for the Liverpool United game on Sunday. It was chocker. And again, the weather has actually been all right last couple of days, and there's everyone sitting outside, boss atmosphere. So again, come down and support your new local pub. It's at the bottom of Harris Drive on Hawthorne Road. Right. I'm not going to be audible about it. We're just going to talk about what happened.
What?
About what happened last weekend.
What happened last weekend?
What should we talk about first? Go on, because I feel bad here, so come on.
You had Liverpool at the top. Why are we going into
Want to talk about it? Okay, we talk about Liverpool first. Okay.
We actually had Paralympics at the top.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
Okay,
so we'll start on a positive.
We'll ease you in then, yes.
Global.
So, massive positive for me. I've got two mates who I went through my rehabilitation with after being injured, who have both just won gold medals, which is amazing. So you've got Jacko Van Gas, who is originally from South Africa, but he was in the Paras and was hit by an RPG. I think he's lost an arm, and he's got, from what I remember, really bad leg injuries as well, which makes it even more remarkable what he's went on and done. He's won 2 golds in the velodrome. Absolute beast. Just like... And you know what's funny, right? I sound like such a horrible person when I say this, but you know when I hear people moan about stuff or talk about like challenges and stuff like that, I find it really hard to kind of feel sorry for them. Yeah, and it's because of people like Jacko. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Lost an arm, horrific injuries to his leg, and he's just an absolute beast. And just a different level, yeah. And then also a mate called Greg Stevenson, who has won gold in the... I can sound terrible, don't know what the name is. On the water, the canoeing, what's it called?
Kayaking.
It's not kayaking, it's the...
Rowing.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Yeah, rowing.
row.
Yeah, he's in a mixed doubles.
Surely can't forget rowing, but then...
Yeah, no, but it's not like it's just on the flat water, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the Oxford and Cambridge race.
Yeah. So he's won gold in that. Again, absolute beast. He lost both his legs, was blown up, but he was a massive lad. So obviously he's just an absolute beast. And won a gold, and I just look at them and I just think, just feel dead proud. Being like, I've seen them when they've got wheeled in, and we're all sitting there together. We used to all take our prosthetics off. Remember there's South Park, and they go like Timmy when someone was at a disability. Yeah. So we call it Timmy tennis, and we play like it's like volleyball, I guess. And we'd all sit there, none of us with no legs, no arms, playing this Timmy tennis. And then to see all the lads later go on and achieve gold in the Paralympics is just incredible. So yeah, boss news on that front. You've got Will Ellard, 200 metres freestyle champion.
Yeah, one of our students, yeah.
Mixed 100 metre freestyle champion, 100 metre butterfly silver, and then Jacko, yeah. It's just bossing it to see people who've been through the mill, for whether it's you've been born like that or you've had an accident, and to go on and just really push the boundaries.
Making the most of it, yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And that's the thing, you can wake up every day and sit there and think, well, this is shit, isn't it? Or you can actually channel that into something positive, and what better platform than the Paralympics. That's amazing. Right, fantasy footy as well. I still had a crap week.
I done okay, not as good as last. I was slightly below the average. I'm not saying I don't look at my score. I was looking on the left and see what the average score was. I think
you're making gains.
I think I got 60 and the average was 73 or something like that. So it was done okay. I think I dropped a couple of places, but not too bad.
I think it's if you've got Haaland in.
I know, that's it.
It's like
the fact I haven't got Haaland is just meaning you got 44. Shitty shit, that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my highest scoring player was Palmer, because I had him as captain.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
so you got 44, and whoever had Haaland or Salah captain at 34, straight
That's
off.
what I mean. So I maybe just should need to put Haaland in, I guess.
See the league.
I'm bottom of every league I'm in.
Oh my God.
I'm doing terrible on it.
Oh, shit. Ricky Allport, top.
3 weeks on the bounce, yeah.
It's one of our mates, that Ricky.
He triple captained Haaland last week.
Where am I?
There you go.
He listened to the scouts.
Oh my God, where am I? Where
You're
the hell am I? Where am I?
Nowhere.
I'm definitely in that league. Why am I not there? There I am, yeah. 25th.
Proper mid-table.
25th, yeah, proper mid-table.
Yeah, so the scout again was... did he have a good week, the scout? The scout done...
Don't give it away.
I won't give it away, no. He had a decent week. Decent-ish. Right, anyway.
Slow burner.
Enough of fantasy. Let's get into the juicy bit. What the fuck happened with Everton?
I still can't get my head around it. I don't know. Again, if you're an Evertonian, or actually more so if you're Liverpoolian, you want to see what it was like right after the game. Watch the across the park instant match reaction. It was just utter disbelief and shock, but I'm sure highly amusing for anyone who doesn't support Everton, particularly Bournemouth or Liverpool fans. But I said it at the time, and I still say it now. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. Obviously, it was a record, like the latest that anyone's give away.
It's like the latest capitulation.
Yeah.
Of a 2-0 lead.
To get beat, yeah, exactly. To get beat from being 2-0 up. So it was literally unforeseen. I don't know. I really don't know what happened.
She's still speechless now.
I'm still speechless, yeah. Like, you can try and, blame and break it down, and you've got the manager who half blamed himself in the post-match, but then said, look, it's still down to basics. The players should have been able to deal with it. You can look back historically at a bizarre stat that I brought up in our post-match reaction, that Sean Dyche has never won a game in August, which is absolutely crazy.
I did actually see that, yeah.
You can look at, again, linked to that, how brutal Sean Dyche's pre-seasons are, and you can see at the moment, when our players get 60 minutes into the game, they just look like they're just absolutely gone. You can look at the missed chances that we had before they even got a goal. You can look at the changes he did or didn't make. Ultimately, it's on everyone, really. It's on everyone that was associated with that group. From the defenders, the forwards, the players that came on. The only players you can't actually attribute any blame to are the subs that didn't come on, and Calvert-Lewin and
Ndiaye.
Iliman Ndiaye. Ndiaye was, before we carry on with the capitulation, Ndiaye was absolutely outstanding. He was brilliant. He was a revelation for us in terms of like someone who just gets the ball on the half turn, drives at them. He just tormented them all day. Calvert-Lewin, as I have predicted, now that the window's closed, looked like a different player, because he thought, what's the point now? I might as well knuckle down. Might as well put some effort in. There's so many positives coming up to that point, and I'm in utter disbelief. And again, if you're going to be a pragmatist and going to be optimistic or positive about it, there was a lot to take from the first 8-7 minutes, but you can't be positive having got beef in that position and conceded the goals in the manner that we did.
Not trying to rub salt in the wounds, and again, I joked last week, you are the eternal optimist when it comes to Everton. But I think in life you are a pretty positive person anyway. The thing I disagree with there, though, you're saying there's positives to take. You're playing Bournemouth at home. They're the games. I'm not. If you were saying, if you played against Man City, you're 2-0 up and then they come back.
No, what I'm talking about, it doesn't matter who you play. If you play a Premier League game and you utterly dominate the game, you score 2 good goals, you're in control of the game. They didn't have a shot on target. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying, and we're not talking about Liverpool levels here. This is an Everton team, as I said last week. This will kind of be a bit of a marker, for both teams. So we're going into that game thinking we've got to win this, and we've got to probably show a bit more in terms of the performance. And up to that point, we did. So no, I know what you're saying. It is Bournemouth at home, and absolutely, it's a game that you're putting down as that should be 3 points. And I'm not shying away from that. And I don't think anyone would, and I don't think anyone has since the game's finished. But
do you think there's a problem now with Everton?
There's a mentality problem without doubt, yeah.
But with the fans though as well, in a sense that.
Mate, you can't blame the fans.
No, I'm not
blaming the fans for that.
No, I'm not blaming the fans. What I mean is expectations, as in...
No. Again, I'm not...
Given it a few years ago, though, when you had Ancelotti, there was talks about Europe.
Doesn't matter, mate. I'm sorry. As a fan, you expect your team to retain a 2-goal lead after 87 minutes. Yeah. I don't care about... So I'm not going to have any fans being criticised on this one.
No, I don't mean... I'm genuinely not... What I mean is, where Everton are kind of are in a bigger picture. Do you think there needs to be a kind of bit of a rethink from a fan's point of view?
I don't think any of our fans expect anything other this season than slightly improving on last season. And when I say slightly improving on last season, I'm talking about the points tally. We would have ended up with 42 points or something. I think if we ended up with that tally or a little bit more, we'd take that. So I don't think any Evertonian, unless you're deluded, and I don't think, regardless of your opinion, there's a lot of them out there. We're not expecting to be beating the top sides at home. We're not expecting to be going to Tottenham like we did last week and you know, going toe to toe with them. We're expecting to compete and to be difficult to beat, and at home to be a bit more positive as we were at the weekend. But there's no excuse for the way that game ended.
What was the stadium like, the atmosphere? Obviously you go 2-0 up and I'm guessing quite jubilant, you know, first win, couple of goals, clean sheet at the time.
Before the goals, by the way, before the first goal had gone in, the atmosphere was brilliant. The fans were right behind the players from before the first whistle. It helped, and it sounds really morbid to say it, but it helped that the Kevin Campbell tributes were reserved for Saturday, because, again, I'm not saying the club done that on purpose. It was obviously reserved for after his funeral anyway. Kevin Campbell's family were there. The whole of the park end where I was had Super Kev. And it was like, it added to the fans going, look, you know, he's one of our own, blah, blah, blah. You know, we see him as one of our own anyway. And that kind of helped the players get, you know, a little bit of that momentum from that, you know, that celebration and that tribute.
That emotion to the game.
Yeah. But again, to credit the fans, before we scored the first goal and before we got in front, the fans were behind them. 2-0, as you say, we were jubilant. You know, we think, you know, this is a bit of a platform for us to kickstart the season. The first goal went in, and it was a little bit like, ugh. But I've got to be honest.
Did you see another two going in after that?
No, I was just going to say that. When that first goal goes in, I think, all right, Dyche is probably going to bring
the clean sheet.
He's going to bring another centre half on. We'll probably start putting the ball into channels. It'll be a bit nervy the last couple of minutes, but I didn't see another goal going in. I could maybe see them having another half chance or a chance. When the second goal went in, it was like, and then when the third one went in, it was pure rage and like, what are you doing? What are you playing at? So that was like the order of it. It was like, it was mild frustration. It was then like
utter frustration,
and then it was anger. I'm not gonna lie, it was anger, because it was like, how have you managed to do that? And like, honestly, I'm not exaggerating here. I reckon you could have put a well-organised Liverpool Sunday League team on that pitch in the 87th minute, and they'd have held out to win the game, or at least got away with a 2-2. There's no way that a decent, well-organised team, relatively fit, you don't have to be fit, actually. You could put a load of big lumps on there, and Dyche was half like alluding to that in his post-match press conference. He said, when you get to the 87th minute or that late in the game and you're in front or you're holding on to a lead or a draw, you've just got to do the basics, and that's being first to the ball, running hard, competing, and we didn't do that.
And it looked like they were trying to chase for a third as well, didn't it? Like, so some of the players were going, like...
Oh, when it was 2-2?
No, before that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you mean when... Yeah, I mean, possibly. So I might be getting this wrong, but I'm fairly certain I'm not. At 2-0, I think it was Tim Arabunum. Tim Arabunum gets the ball, and he was probably second to Ndiaye in terms of being one of the best players on the pitch. But 5 minutes before that, he plays a few loose passes. He looked knackered. Should have been took off. He had really heavy legs. But he gets the ball in the middle of the pitch. Bear in mind, at this point, Bournemouth have got 3 or 4 forwards on. So they've got players in advanced areas. And instead of just keeping the ball, he tried to thread a ball through in behind, lost the ball, and they counted on us and pretty much scored straight from that. So yeah, there was definitely a bit of, you know, immaturity.
Which is mad, because you think the run that he's been on, and I know it's early on in the season, but you think, you know, no win, not even scored, you know, bottom of the league. At 2-0 up, you think...
He's a kid, though. And this is where, like...
And he's not the only one, by the way.
No, he's not the only one.
They were enjoying themselves.
That's they were, yeah.
Like, so it was like they weren't even thinking about that they were going to get beat.
But that's where again, I levelled the blame immediately after the match, and I probably slightly, I wouldn't say I backtracked on it, but looking at it from a more holistic point of view, maybe I'm not as wedded to this thought now, but I completely blame the manager after it, because I said... Players were tired. There were young players out there that could have been taken out to replace them with more experienced players. There was the likes of Coleman that couldn't even run anymore. He was just done.
We said this last week, you know, when we spoke about recruitment, and you said a lot of young players coming in, you think great. And I made the point, you kind of expect for a team to be kind of wanting to improve on what you did last season. You need older players, experienced, and that's
but
exactly what let you down, hasn't it?
No, we had that though. So let me explain. The young, like Tim Arabunum was brilliant, but when you're 2-0 up and the lad's tired, take him off and put Ashley Young on the right and tuck someone inside. You know, take Coleman off for someone with fresh legs. We didn't need the experience at right back. We just needed someone with fresh legs at right back. We needed someone with a bit more experience in the middle. I've sat there many a time through the David Moyes era in that position when we were 2-0 up or 2-1. Another centre back would have come on. We'd have had a back five, and I'm absolutely certain that with another centre back in that system there, then that second and third goal wouldn't have happened because someone would have went and won that header. But we had two full-backs who were tired. They were not getting in. They were not tucking in on the far post, which is what the second and third goal come from. And they weren't dealing with balls in the air. And Michael Keane's, is an empty head at the best of times. So, yeah, look, I'm not going to give it a Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher and start getting magnets out or going on screens and pointing it out. It was basics. And for me, a lot of it sits with the manager, but a hell of a lot of it sits with the mentality of the players of, as Muskie said, just getting rid of the ball and retaining the 2-0 lead. But certainly when you get to 2-1, just fucking putting the ball in the stands, putting players in the stands. There was a couple of moments where at 2-1, their players got it on the touchline. You're thinking, just go and smash him.
It is just so many elements of it that is just basic. I remember, when you play Sunday League. Now I know this wouldn't happen in the Prem because they'll use another ball or it goes into the crowd quite quick.
Smash in the stands. Yeah,
I remember being Sunday League.
Kick the ball off that little thing.
Being on Buckley I'd just boot the ball as far as you could and just give everyone a 5-minute breather while one of the dads got the ball.
You're not wrong, and
it's basics.
You're not wrong, but then again, and I'm not going to completely backtrack again, but going back to the manager in that situation, how often do you see it in games? And you probably see it more often abroad, but you definitely see it from the likes of City and more experienced managers when you know that the momentum shifted and that team are trying to keep the ball in play. Ref sub, do it every minute. Just keep breaking it up. But he was just literally standing there, balling his head off.
Dyche's Burnley used to do that.
Though. Yeah.
So Dyche has got it in him because when we used to play Burnley, they were always doing the dark hard stuff.
I know, and that's the bit that...
What's the feeling then? Firstly, when the final whistle goes, I mean, what was the...
I told you it was anger. It was like...
But then, what did it then feel like when Dyche come out afterwards and said he could smell it? It was coming. I mean, I've seen a lot get made of it, and it's a bit... I think it's a bit concerning to know that the manager can always... he's the one who can affect the game, yet he's not affecting it in a positive way. And then he comes out afterwards and said, basically I knew that was going to happen.
Couldn't agree with you more, and like, it was like an arrogant way, the way he said it, because he starts off by saying, look, it's on me, but then proceeds to blame the players for the rest of it. And it's like, you knew it was coming. You had the ability to make changes, even if those changes were just to waste time. Again, like, just bringing fresh players in the pitch, someone who can go and press someone really quickly and go and put a bit of energy into it. It's just, and the plays he brought off, now again, like, so bear in mind, I'd say 9 of the 10 outfield players were absolutely gone. They were dead on the feet. Iliman Ndiaye was the only player on there who still was running probably as energetically as he was. Now, obviously, I'm sure he was more tired than he was at the start of the game. Absolutely. But he was a threat. They were having to put 2 players on him nearly all the time. As soon as he come off, they were like, sounds, we can push a player up now because he's gone. Calvert-Lewin, whatever you think about his injury record, now, I half understand that substitution, but he's dominant in the air in both boxes. You get into the end of the game, even if you say to Calvert-Lewin or you get an instruction, don't run anymore, just stand there. But if they get a corner, I want you on that near post winning that first ball. 2 players that I just don't think needed to be taken off. And then you lose 2 substitutions, but it still didn't stop him from making the other 3.
Going forward now, does it change your opinion on the season, where you might finish? I mean...
Not at the moment, because I don't think... Oh, look, it might be the difference between 12th and 14th or whatever at the end of the season when you look at the points tally.
You're still not worried about relegation?
No, I'm not. I'm genuinely not. And again,
I think for me, looking at you, though, what it's done for me was the way you kind of look at games and you go, wow, yeah, don't fancy them to get anything there. You'd fancy them to get a point there, blah, blah, blah. You've got Villa away next. That's going to be a really tough game.
Before you go into this though, two things. I'm going to go right back to the very start. One, Dyche's start in August has always been traditionally awful. Two, look at last season. We got beat by Sheffield United at the start of the season in a similar fashion. Not from being like 2-0 up, but one of them games where you're like, oh, we just got beat by them and everyone was panicking and blah, blah, blah. Two, we picked up a lot of points away from home last season where people weren't expecting us to. I don't think we're the type of team, or Sean Dyche just seems rarely the type of team where you can go, right, that's 3 points, that's one. Yeah. You're not getting beat. I still genuinely think, sorry to cut you off, I still genuinely think we've got more quality and experience over the stretch than 5 or 6 teams down there.
I do agree with you in the sense that it's impossible to kind of pick 1 point there, 3 point there, because if last season, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Chelsea, was it? Then you won 4 or 5 on the bounce, and you think, where the fuck has that just come from?
It was around November, December, yeah. Which is when, again, go back through Premier League history, and again, I might try and get a bit of a thing for the next podcast in terms of the difference, but he's one of the best performing managers in November and December across like Premier League history outside of the top 6. So
last thing then on Everton, what do you think then from a fan's perspective? I know you can't speak for every fan, but I mean,
I won't do that now.
What is the feeling from the lad you're speaking to in the sense of like, is it, come on, let's just get behind them again? Is it still that frustration? Because I mean, going into in the next game, you almost still want to be pissed off at them, but then you've also then got to be like, actually, you know what?
So two things that I think will benefit the group, Dyche, blah, 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 and the mood. One, we've got a few away games coming up, which, look, it could put us in a worse position, don't get me wrong, but we've got a tough game at Villa, which, if the team come out and perform well at Villa, and again, at Villa, you probably put up with the Tottenham game, you're not expecting us to go there and win, but if they go there and perform well and we take some positives out of that game, you've then got to think Leicester away, is that right?
Yep.
I would, listen, that's a massive game, but if you can take something from the Villa game, whether it's a point or whether it's from the performance, I'm confident we go to Leicester and win. You then come back to good, and it's like we've had a 3 or 4 week break since that disaster happened. You'd like to think, a few home truths have been told, and I would say then you go into that game, the fans are probably back behind the team as they would be. The worst thing that could have happened probably is for us to have another home game this Saturday, because it would have just been like post-traumatic stress. Yeah. Everyone's like thinking we've got to win this. So
not to kind of again act like I'm trying to give it to make it sound worse, but like you say, Villa will be a tough game, 5:30 on a Saturday night. If you don't get nothing there, you go to Leicester away, again another tough game. If you don't get knocked out of them two, you then Palace at home. You've played 5 games and you're bottom of the league. That'll be an interesting atmosphere.
Oh yeah, no, obviously, if we get beef in those other 2 games, particularly in the Leicester one, the Palace game, then I can't predict what the atmosphere might be like, because it could be really tense and horrible. And don't get me wrong, and I said this, I think I said this on record, but if we lost our first 5 games of the Premier League, including games against Bournemouth at home and Leicester away, if we had a stable board and an owner, Dyche should be sacked. There's no 2 ways about it, for me.
Is there an element of you can't sack him because you got no money?
No, there is. It's not no money. We've got no board. We can't, because we've got no owner. No one's actually got
the power.
Yeah, no one's got the power and the position to be able to sack a manager, and we certainly haven't got the budget and infrastructure to go and bring in another one. I don't believe, anyway. I might be wrong there. Someone could say, well,
by the time you pay him off and all the staff and then bring other staff,
from a financial perspective, it's not a big deal. I think he's got 18 months left on his contract. I can't imagine Steve Stone and Ian Warner on multi-million pounds deals.
It's probably what, 3, 4, 5.
Oh yeah, it's still the best part of 5 million. I don't think you're not wrong. I don't think we've generally got the resources to go and do that. We're probably using every spare penny we've got to fund the wage bill and the stadium. But if John Textor comes in
has there been any more news on that?
It's progressing. I mean, I know from inside the club he's constantly been at Finch Farm. He's at the new stadium quite a lot. It's just a matter of, I think, trying to ratify the whole Palace situation, because he's got shares there. Obviously, you don't need to be a rocket science to see why we were doing so many dealings with Leon when his group owned most of Leon. So that's why there was so much, action going on between the 2 clubs there. So it's progressing, but look, as we found with other offers and stuff, it's not done until it's done.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on to Liverpool.
I know. I think I'd rather carry on talking about Everton's misery.
In many ways, it's kind of what we all three of us said, really, wasn't it? I think just looked very professional, almost like a machine. There looked less emotion in it. And I think even Arne Slot kind of brings that himself in the press conferences. You know, he's not this kind of big, bubbly character the way Klopp is. He's just very kind of, I think, very measured in his responses to it in his interviews. Yeah, he just seems very calm. And I think that's what the performance was like. Just calm, professional. I thought we looked fantastic. I think he took the emotion out the game and just played really good football. I think that midfield was just brilliant. I thought Gravenberch, what a player he looks to be. I thought, again, we joked about my fancy footy. I thought Gakpo would kind of be the Dutch love child. It looks like he's going to be. Again, I tipped up Szoboszlai to play well this season. I think he's carried on as good.
The worst moment of the match, though. What was he playing?
He was being a bit too funny, wasn't he?
That doesn't happen at 0-0, does it?
No.
I mean, I'm shocked the manager didn't hook him, by the way. And you can talk about that. Maybe he just thought, I'm not going to rise to that. I'm just going to wait till after the game and pull him. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, I thought the midfield was great. I thought Mo was great. I think he's not really getting that much praise. But Alisson, 3 games, 3 clean sheets. He made some good saves. I just think just so much optimism. I think most Liverpool fans didn't really know what to expect at the start of the season. 3 victories, 3 clean sheets, joint top with City, and you've been to United away. Absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing.
I think the analytical side of Slot has already been seen from just the public now. So even like on Twitter and stuff like that, people were saying like in 2 minutes he has totally undone everything that Erik ten Hag has been trying to do for like in his explanation after the game. He
literally said, didn't he? I know what United are doing now compared to last season, and I think someone said, didn't he, or the comment was like, Arne Slot just sums up Erik ten Hag's football more than Ten Hag has in 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think there's so much to get excited about now, but I'm trying my best not to because, again, we're only 3 games in. But I just kind of like the fact that, I mean, it must have been really hard for him to come into the club following Klopp. And he's kind of thinking, like, what do you do? How can you follow him? And he's come in and he's tried to be a bit, seemingly to me anyway, a bit like reserved. He hasn't really, I mean, who knows what gets said behind closed doors. Isn't he? But yeah, he's not trying to say, look, I'm ripping up everything that Klopp's done. He's just tweaking little things. So it's not as if the players haven't got a clue what he's asking them. He just seems to be tweaking little things, little small changes.
Management style, he seems a bit more pep than Klopp in terms of like how he goes about his business. Like there's little emotion. It's all about those fine margins and tweaks and things like that.
My perception is, again, as a bit of an outsider, but looking at it tactically, I think he's already got a good handle on the right pegs to put in the right holes. Like you talk about Gravenberch there, he didn't get enough minutes under Klopp, and when he did, he was playing in positions where he didn't look comfortable. He straight away come in and went, I know where he plays best. And I think I always say, and I'm not going to get carried away for you either, but what's great about the great managers and great coaches, and for me, Ancelotti's brilliant at this, he doesn't go, right, that's my system and that's the way I'm playing. He goes, okay, how can I make a system out of these players? And his principles don't change. And Arne Slot, I think, is sticking to his principles, but he's not wedded to a particular formation or a particular way of playing. He goes, well, actually, if I took him in there and put him in that position, the team will function better. And I think he's genuinely at the moment, and obviously a lot was made about your lack of business, but you can kind of see why you haven't done that much business, because there's not many positions in that starting 11 where you think you look particularly weak.
He's made a comment as well on, I don't know whether it was at this game or the last one, about, he spoke about when you've got Salah like chasing back, and who else was it running back? Diaz running back. It kind of helps the system. I think he's just expecting players to just run through a brick wall for him, and he seems to be getting that already. You look how I think it was McAllister just knocked Mainoo off the ball. I think Casemiro was dispossessed. What we've just been mentioning about Everton not doing the basics, everyone in that team seems to be doing everything, all the basics, spot on. And I think that then just resulted in a really measured performance. And again, I said before, emotion. That was one of the big things I wanted to see from him. Those big games against United, against Everton, against City, the big ones where the media's a bit more attention on it and stuff like that. He just took all the emotion out of it and just put on a proper solid performance. And
I think the running stats showed that as well. I think Szoboszlai and Jota were 1 and 2 for the season. I know we've only had 3 games, but like covering like 11k, and it's not just like runs where they're just chasing nothing. They were all like, well, the majority of them were impactful and measured runs where they were actually doing something for the team and not just, you know, trying to run to G up the crowd or whatever like some players will do.
It begs the question as well, though, how well he does do the season. I think one of his, you could mark it as a victory if he kind of gets the 3 of them to stay. You know, you had Salah come out in the game afterwards talking about it's his last season. I think a lot was made about him saying that. I just think he meant, like, factually, that is my last season. As it stands right now, it's my last season. Everyone's jumped on it saying, is that basically him conceding that he's going?
It's the best time for him to say. He's just put on a performance at Old Trafford there where he set up 2 and scored.
Yeah.
So
he's not showing. It's not like there's no commitment there. So he's not performing.
If he's had a shit game, he's not going to come out and say anything like that. If he's had a really good game, it's like, oh, by the way, I'm just reminding the people up there.
I think
you still haven't talked to me about my contract, do you?
Yeah. I think for me, his body language and what he said, I think it was just a bit like, look, I want to stay. Just make me an offer. I want to stay.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying.
I think
the performances like that will only help those 3 stay.
The question is, though, right? If you had to lose one of them, Trent, Virgil or Mo, who would you want to lose?
You shouting out to Michael Dodd there for putting that in the WhatsApp group the other day.
Yeah. I'd personally, I would let Virg go. I think the only reason why, I think they say all the time, don't they, those who play the game at a high level, the hardest thing to do is put the ball in the back of the net. You've had Mo do that now for 7-8 seasons or something. Virg, as unbelievable as he is, and I still think he's got another 2-3 years at the top, I think we've also got other good defenders, and also you've got a midfield and a system that can help stop the attack. Whereas again, like I've just said, if the hardest thing is to put the ball in the back of the net, you've got someone there who's done it week in, week out now for years. So if you're going to lose any of them, as crazy as it does sound to lose any of them...
It's Trent for me, by the way. Absolutely by a country mile, Trent.
Really?
And the reason for me...
The only reason I wouldn't with him is because of his age.
Yeah, all right, but look back through history and tell me a title-winning team or a majorly successful team, domestically and European, and the first person who jumps off the sheet is the right-back / inside right midfielder. Should not the case. You'd always remember the centre-backs, the big lead. And I know that's just because... But you remember the captains, you remember the ones who kept the clean sheets, you remember the ones who got you through, scored big goals at big times. You talking about Salah, you remember the top goal scorers. You don't look at that team and go, they'd be nothing without the frigging right back or the...
No, you make a decent point, but he's not just a right back though, is he?
No, what I'm saying inside, but he hasn't done nothing, let's be honest. You can talk about him. No, I'm not saying...
His assists...
Don't let me finish. He's not doing nothing in midfield, has he? And all right, the assists, you're absolutely right, but I don't think the system and the way that Arne Slot plays now is going to allow Trent to get as many assists. He doesn't go wide in those areas anymore. He doesn't overlap and cross the ball in constantly. You could argue he might have a different influence.
Time will tell, but even that, he got a goal that was disallowed. So he's in the positions, he's still attacking. You know, you've got your
Has he got an assist yet?
I think he has, hasn't he?
I'm not sure.
I don't think he has.
I know he passed it through to Salah for Jota's in the first game, but I can't remember.
I'm not saying. Listen, by the way, I'm not saying he's crap.
No,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's not a world class player. I'm not saying he's a major asset. But if someone said, or Real Madrid or whatever said, right, 150 million for Trent or whatever, 200 daft money, which it would be, then, or 40 million for Van Dijk, and it will be an economical decision as well.
Got an assist, yeah.
I think if you bring the economics in of how much the crazy money you'll probably end up getting for Trent, and what the team...
He might end up...
Oh yeah, of course, at the end of the season, his contract, but what the team lose, I think, from losing Van, even if it is only for 2 seasons or 3 seasons, I think I think you won't go and replace Trent. Well, you won't try and replace Trent. You'll try and bring someone else in.
Conor Bradley there already. He's a great defender.
Exactly. I think all the factors. I wouldn't even think twice.
But I just think with Konate there, he's 25. You've got Kwanzaa. I know nowhere near him, Van Dijk's league. But
if you lost Van Dijk, you would have to bring in another centre back.
It'd have to be someone of his.
But my point is though, you've got a team that's set up to play in a certain way. A team can play defensive. You know,
and that's what I'm saying. I don't think taking Trent out of there changes the way you play, and I don't think we'll see. As you say, time will tell. If you get to Christmas and he's got 8 assists and 5 goals, you're like, can't
okay, then well, answer me this then: if Klopp was still there, would Trent still be the one that you sold?
No, probably not. I think he's more. Him
So
and
you're only saying him because of the manager?
Yeah,
the new
I
manager
think, and assuming that he's sticking around and the way he's going to play going forward. Look, I think Robertson. I'm not saying he played badly at the weekend, but I think he looked a bit lost. And I'm not saying he played badly. I think he performed well, but how many times he almost had to stop himself from driving into that channel and running an overlap, and he's like, stop and start. And I think
probably Trent and Robbo now have probably created the rods for their own back, in the sense that how they played under Klopp, the levels that they reached under Klopp, the assists that they both got, and now in a new system for a new manager, you probably look at them and go, what have they actually done?
It's the three midfielders that are more key in that system, and the fullbacks are there to just back them up and support them and link up with them. Yeah. They're not there to go and create another...
It's a fair point you make. I just think purely on age, I wouldn't be letting Trent go.
Yeah, fair enough.
But listen, if he doesn't want to be there, what can you do? I think he'll end up at Madrid anyway.
I do.
It's just whether we get any money for him.
I think it'll be he gets a contract.
Just so
that we can sell him.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
I think he wouldn't let himself go on a free. I think that would be stupid for his legacy at
It'd be a McManaman thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
He'd be seen. I wouldn't quite say it'd be that bad, but McManaman was snide the way he's done that.
Well, it would be that bad, I think.
No, I mean, I'm not sure.
It'd be worse.
I know, it would be for you, but I'm not sure that personally he'll be straddled with the McManaman legacy, but it would be a little bit like that. Come on, you could have signed a contract there and blah, 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 but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, all happy on the red side.
All I'll say, and I'm going to say it because you'd say it was the other way, I don't believe, despite the media hype, that game was like, we're going to see what Liverpool are about. I agree that it was always a game.
As well.
It was always a game that has got a lot of emotion. It is a derby, for you. For most fans, it's probably bigger than the game against Everton because of the fact that you're always up there. But that's a poor United team, and it has been for quite some time. I want to see us come up against the Arsenals, the Cities, and then we'll see if all those totally, them kinks in the armour, if they do exist, and if they don't, then you're the real deal.
A bit of news that, well, it does affect you and I. Well, it affects everyone, I suppose, doesn't it? Leicester have won their appeal over the PSR breach, which is massive in the sense that I'm imagining you're feeling pretty hard done by.
I'm
it's done now. You're over it.
I'm not over it. I don't think any fan will be, because it's just grossly unjust, but
especially if you get hit again this season.
But I don't want the likes of Leicester to get done by it either. I think that's right. I'll be starting to feel more aggrieved if the likes of City, Chelsea, and all that are getting away with it.
This is the thing that scared me. Once I saw they'd won their appeal, it wasn't so much I couldn't give a fuck about Leicester, but I'm thinking, if Leicester's legal team have got on this and have found a loophole in it, Man City's legal team are going to have a field day. There is not a chance that if this Premier League, PSR, whatever you want to call it, has kind of come up against the mighty Leicester City legal team and they've crumbled, there's not a chance that City are going to get done with any of these 115 charges. They've got the best lawyers in the world on this. And I think City now will be waking up this morning thinking, well, if Leicester have got away with it because of X, Y and Z,
we can at the very least
we're not getting
claw some of it back.
Yeah. And that's I think the worrying thing, because they're already listening on TalkSport this morning. They're already talking about having to rejig the rules or rephrase it because whatever.
They've done that several times over the last year.
They're about doing it again because of this Leicester thing. So it's I'm not bothered about Leicester, but I'm just a bit disheartened to know what it's going to mean now for potentially Man City getting done, which I didn't think they'd get done anyway, but I definitely don't think they will now. Other news this morning, we mentioned it last week, but it's come up again, kind of, with Ivan Toney. He actually did make the move to Saudi. And what's interesting, again, it was on TalkSport this morning, was talking about, does that automatically rule him out of an international call-up, as Ronald Koeman's come out and said Bergwijn is out of the Netherlands squad. Bergwijn, sorry. Because of his move to Saudi. He's literally come out, he said, I think, that book is now closed.
Yeah.
And it begs the question then, is Ivan Toney's...
Without doubt. I mean...
We kind of mentioned it last week, didn't we? He's probably
Henderson was... I think it's probably been determined since, and certainly he's shown it because he's over the hill now, but if Henderson would have stayed in England, he would have still been getting called up to the England squad. No doubt about it for me.
I think he was a bit harsh there on Koeman, though, because he took one album, didn't he? To the Euros, just gone. Maybe he's looked at Genie and thought...
Did he?
He took one album, yeah. He took him the Euros, and maybe he's had a crap Euros. And
wasn't his comment though around his age, saying he's gone to Saudi at 25,
or whatever.
26? Yeah, he actually said his age, didn't he? He said he's gone to Saudi at 26. Clearly, he doesn't, value his career. Whereas Wijnaldum was struggling to stay fit when he hadn't played probably more than 5 games. In
Do you know what though? I think you can't really say that though, because you look at Ivan Toney. Probably different circumstances to the Dutch lad. Have you seen how much money he's on?
It doesn't matter.
No, Gary.
I know it doesn't. I'm not saying it doesn't.
I'm
not saying it doesn't matter. As in, you shouldn't be making that decision. I'm just saying, as we've said so many times, you're either money or legacy, aren't you? Or your professional career or the finances. You can't have both if you're very lucky. If you're at the very, very top of the game. If
you're Ivan Toney, and you're 28. I think 28, 29. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going Saudi. Now, the reason I'm going to Saudi with Ivan Toney is you're not England's number 9. You're never going to be England's number 9 in your lifetime because of Harry Kane. You're kind of on the fringes of things. You've got none of the top sides that actually wanted to sign you. So you're not really going to get better than Brentford in the Premier League. Yeah.
The numbers are apparently 400 grand a week after tax plus bonuses. Now, if everyone's saying he's going to rip it up as he should, he's probably going to be scoring most weeks, so he's probably going to be picking up nearly half a million quid. Not
having to work half as hard. So that's the other thing as well. Like you go to that league and it's you've seen it in the MLS with how Suarez is just absolutely tearing it up at 38 or 39. Probably doesn't have to train as often as he did at the top clubs. Doesn't have to work as hard as when he's on the pitch. Doesn't have to work off the ball. Literally, just everyone gives him the ball when he wants it. You're basically going back to the whole argument of it's just a normal job. Someone turns around and goes, I'm going to give you 50 times what you were on, and you're going to have to work half as much.
It's just mad when you think £500,000 quid a week. Like, what the fuck?
It's a good front three for them as well. It's got Mahrez, Firmino and Toney.
It's decent, isn't it?
That'd be good.
That'd be, up there in the
that'd be a
the
decent
best forward line in the Premier League,
yeah.
One of them.
But, I just think I think fair play to him. Do you know what? And I also think what could be a bit harsh on Toney is people are calling him a mercenary, saying, he's gone for the money and all that, and he's let his country down by basically,
let his country down.
No, you'll get people saying that he shouldn't go because he should want to fight for his England career. Listen, England's a crap. England don't win it anyway. And like you just said, he's there the 4th choice anyway.
Let's rewind 3 months when you said that they were going to win it.
I was going to say, I think England's a crap is a bit much.
Well, listen, I was the biggest England fan anyway. I want them to win. But let's look at the facts.
They're one of the top 5 in the world, mate. What crap are they?
Well, they haven't won anything since 1966.
No, but you know what I mean? They're not crap if they get into finals and semi-finals. The best competitions.
It's like saying Tottenham are crap, though. They haven't won a trophy for whatever long.
No, it's not.
It's the same thing.
They fail at the last hurdles. Not crap, is it? It's just...
Well, what is it?
They're lacking some... we talk about it all the time here about, inches and the small margins. There are small margins at the moment that is denying England from a trophy. They're not crap.
Yeah. I don't deny that it is small margins, but if you look at it...
Again, Tottenham are crap, are they? Just because they're not crap, are they?
They are, Gary.
They're not crap in the scheme of it. Again, if this was a job and we're talking about a normal profession, Tottenham are what from a company point of view are the equivalent to like Samsung or something. If you're one of the top dogs at Samsung, just because you're not Apple, does it mean you're crap?
Well, we're using the word crap in the sense of what's the kind of winning thing? It's to put your hands on a trophy. England haven't done that since 1966. Tottenham haven't done it with a major trophy since
1966 when there's a competition every 2 or 4 years. It's not the same as like a club domestic thing where there's 5 or 6 trophies up for grabs.
No, it's not. But the point is, again, you look at Toney, you think, okay, right, I'm going to give up my England career, right, to go and earn £500,000 a week, or I can stay in this country and play third fiddle for a team that hasn't won nothing since 1966.
But again, it's going back to legacy again, though, isn't it? If you are England's number 9, which he isn't, do you want a statue outside Wembley and all your grandkids and your great grandkids knowing that you are an absolute legend of the country, which he's not going to be because he's not England's number 9, or do you just want to take the money? So again, if I was Ivan Toney, I would take the money. If I was Harry Kane, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, but I also think we're saying this about Toney. You don't know, he was in the last year of his contract, you don't know if Brentford have said, look, we've had a 40 million bid come in for you. If we don't sell you now, we're going to have to let you go for free. And we don't want to do that. We need some money. Arsenal haven't come in for you. Chelsea haven't come in for you. This is the only offer we've got. So I'm sorry. we're accepting it.
I'm not criticising Ivan Toney.
No, but I'm saying there'll be people out there saying he's gone for the money. But actually, Brentford might have turned around to him and said, listen, you've got to go.
I don't think it matters what the circumstances are. I don't think it's a bad deal for Brentford, which is probably what you're saying. It's certainly not a bad deal for Ivan Toney.
No.
And the fact of the matter is, nobody else come in with another serious bid. So I don't think it's like... I think there's other examples more recently that are probably more, that are more significant in terms of players being like greedy or following the money than there is the Ivan Toney.
Oh no, totally. But you will, I've heard it this morning on Talks, but you have heard people already go, I look at him after the money, and I just think...
Well, one person, I know it's further down, so I might as well bring it in now. Victor Osimhen going to Galatasaray. What an absolute ridiculous sign is for Galatasaray. But he was one that was just caught in the middle of nowhere. He was no man's land in the end, wasn't he? Because he was like...
Is Mourinho managing them now?
No, he's
Fenerbahce, isn't he?
That's an incredible sign. But... Again, he was in no man's land because he accepted the offer, but he was like waiting for someone else to come in. Nobody else did come in because they were like, Chelsea were like, they can't even get near that money.
But he's kind of done a weird one because he's kind of could have had the money that Toney was on. Not got that.
And he was in a shit league.
And he's not even gone to a decent club like in the Premier.
He must be on daft money though, because I think it's only a season-long loan. So I think Galatasaray...
Oh, it's only loan, is it?
Yeah, Galatasaray took the hit and probably went, all right, let's give him, whatever, 300 grand a week. For a season, but we know it's going to cost us no more than 15 million. Do you know what I mean? That must be the deal. I haven't seen the ins and outs, but it must be the deal. But it's a stinky one for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as we spoke about this, as you kind of get older, I think the kind of little boy inside me who loves football is gutted when you see a move like that because you think, God, he was ripping it up for Napoli. You want to see him in the Premier, you want to see him. But then, as you get older and you know how important money can be, you think, well, listen, if he's getting paid X amount, you think... But it is one is it's. I don't care the money. He's. I think you either go and get stupid, silly money in Saudi, or you play for a decent club. Osimhen's gone for probably not the money that he would have got in Saudi, and still not a great club. So it's a bit.
His club. What are they in the Europa League? Galatasaray, or did they qualify for the Champions League? I think they did, didn't they? No, they got beaten in the final qualifying round against someone. Sure, they did.
Yeah, absolutely mad. But he's
so I think they're in the Europa League.
Across Europe then as well, Leverkusen lost their 35-match unbeaten streak.
2-1 up.
They were winning 2-0.
It was 2-0? That was
2-0, yeah. And I had a bet on them, so I couldn't believe it when they got beat. They'd went 462 days unbeaten.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Really impressive.
You just got to... They kind of went out the way that they were winning some of the games. They lost last minute where they were getting all the last minute wins. I think they were throwing the kitchen sink at it to try and win it, weren't they?
You had Mbappe as well. He finally got off the mark. He scored
2
after. Yeah, well, he had 3 goalless games. He scored in the Super Cup, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he did.
But he hadn't scored in La Liga.
He hadn't scored in the league. He's had a daft amount of shots. I was looking at it before he scored, and I think up to that point he's had something like 37 shots without scoring.
Really, yeah.
In the game before that, when you were playing Las Palmas last week, he was doing a bit of a cane where he was just like
shooting from anywhere.
Shooting from anywhere, but also like dropping into centre mid because he wanted
just
the
desperate
ball. He was just trying to force things that that's not his game anyway, is it? He likes to have the space and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was just like he was really desperate for that goal, so you might actually see a better side of him.
Yeah, and I think you'll see a better Madrid team as well because they did look a little bit. And again, it's hard, isn't it, when you say it's hard on how the other side live. But they've signed Mbappe. I don't think personally Ancelotti would have been going, I want Mbappe. Obviously, someone offers you Mbappe as a manager, like, yeah, I'll take it. But straight away, you're probably thinking, how do I fit Vinicius in? Him. There's too many players who want to play in the same position.
I think you've actually said in the past, Vinicius, I think he'll end up being a better player than him.
I do think so, yeah. And you know what? I think it shows his class as well, the way he behaved at the weekend, got that penalty, knew he won the penalty. He is the penalty taker. He took one the week before. He said, no, Mbappe needs this. Give him the ball. He's already scored 1, but I think he thought, look, 2 goals. Suddenly he's on 2 goals in 4 games. It looks like a different thing, and he knows for the greater good for the team.
Yeah.
That's what's needed. I love Vinicius.
Yeah. Anything else on footy have we got? It's the England, it's the internationals, isn't it? So there was I always think a bit of conspiracies when certain players don't get. Or, well, Cole Palmer's not gone because he was, I think, what did he put the brackets in? Something like an ongoing condition or something.
Yeah, so Palmer and Watkins have been sent back.
It's fucking bullshit, isn't it?
So they went there, and then either their medical team have said you're not fit, or maybe
they sent them there saying they're not fit, and now as well. There was a bit of a precedent. I can't remember who it was a while ago, but there was one of the clubs that sent a player. They said he was injured. England says he weren't and he could play, and he ends up getting injured, and the club sued the FA for quite a few quid. So now I think the FA are like, shit, we need to... If their club doctors say that he isn't fit, we need to categorically prove that he is.
Yeah.
So I think now...
By the way, this isn't the first time it's happened. You've heard Gary Neville talk about it.
It happens a lot in this particular one.
Oh, yeah.
The early September ones.
Yeah.
Or the late August ones. Whenever you do it.
I don't know many ex-pros who talk about this international window fondly. They're like, you've worked all pre-season to get yourself fit. You've had the tough first few games. Your family haven't seen you probably for the best part of 6 weeks because you're almost on lockdown, doing pre-season, going straight into the... You just want a bit of a break and a bit of
even if you think about the players like, say, Trent, for example, he only came into the Liverpool fold a week before the season started. Now it's 4 weeks later and
back to England.
It's international break.
And even more so if you're like a Watkins maybe, and almost Palmer because of the way he was treated in the Euros. If you think
or a Trent.
Or a Trent, that's what I was going to get to. If you're only going to potentially play maybe half a game or something, and you're just making the numbers up, and you know you're not maybe the manager's cup of tea.
I think I'd definitely, and I'm not just saying this the whole Scouse not English thing, but I 100% think I'd be like the Arsenal lad who just goes,
Ben White, Ben White for England. I know
I'd
you
be
would.
like that.
I know you would.
Not about the whole representing the country, because I think it'd be really proud to represent
just whacking
the country.
the beds.
But yes, I used to be orange when I was a kid, doing that. But no, I just think you're playing that much footy anyway. He's on a good screw at Arsenal, away from his family all the time. And if someone was going, come away and sit on the bench, you'd be like, fucking be fucking arsed.
No, Carragher's half said the same, hasn't he? Like he obviously thought he was good enough, but then when he realised he was never going to get a game, he was like,
what's the point?
Can't be arsed,
Maybe we finish off on the US Open. Some massive shocks, crazy shocks. So Alcaraz went out. Djokovic went out, I think, in the first round. Djokovic might have went out. And now we are left with the quarterfinals, which will be going on over the next
none of
days.
the top 5, or top 8 even.
It's got the number 1.
Of course, Yannick Sinner.
Sinner's in it. So by the time this is out, because we're recording on Wednesday, actually, we'll be closer to the final. But as it stands on a minute, at the Wednesday, we're talking on the quarter-final. You got Sinner against Medvedev, that's 1 versus 5. Draper against, can never say his name, Demuna. It's 25th.
Dimitrov. Oh, sorry. Oh, Dimino,
that's it. He's 10th in the world against Jack Draper, who's 25th. And Fritz has already overcome Zverev, and TFO has already come across Dimitrov.
That was he retired Dimitrov. He threw one in, by the way. Last set, he was 4-1 down.
He just give up to
It was already 2-1, and he was just like, got an injury.
Well, the big one is for Jack Draper.
Yeah.
Massive for him. He was only 22. He's 25th in the world. And I think it's going to be his first semi-final if he can win.
Didn't Dimino knock Alcaraz out? Sure it was him.
No, it wasn't him.
No,
but it's going to be massive, I think.
Dan Evans he knocked out as well, but
if he can do it, it'd be massive. Like say, he's only young, but it just shows you that. Well, it's obviously well and truly gone now. The kind of age of the big three. There needs to be other players coming through, and why not him?
Yeah, why not? I mean, he is only 22. It's still young for a tennis player. Yeah, I mean,
say that's still young for a tennis player. Alcaraz, I think, is 21 and's already won as many titles as Murray did. So, yeah,
no, relatively young. Do you know what I mean? That's an extreme example. I don't think apart from like, it was a Pete Sampras who come through really, really young. There's not many players who've come through that young. But no, fair play. It's great to see a Brit in the quarters.
He's the rank outsider. As we speak now on Wednesday, he's 14-1, so he's the rank outsider. But who knows?
The local support's a big factor there. Obviously, it's a huge stadium on centre court, isn't it? I really fancy Francis Tyfo. He's been brilliant throughout the whole tournament. He's relishing like the atmosphere and stuff. He's really like getting into it. And I think he's like 12-1. So again, we'll know by Friday. He'll probably be out by Friday.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to go for Sinner though. I think number 1, in the world, and he's probably had a few years that he's been looking at the likes of Djokovic dominating. Now Djokovic is out, he's thinking this is my time to shine.
2 Grand Slams if he wins this one. Is it the Frenchy one as well?
What I will say as well, bit of a mad stat. So Gerard Houllier was the Liverpool manager the last time that one of the big three didn't make a final.
Wow.
How crazy is that? 2002 was one at Musk.
That's what it said on the article. Yeah.
That's crazy though. Wow.
Just shows you what
a
just 3 people can dominate a sport. And that's it, I think, boys. Anything else to add?
No, all good. Have a good weekend.
Have a boss weekend.
Cheers.
Shite international, so I won't be watching any footy. I'm actually away.
That's why it'll be a better weekend for Gary.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Can I just quickly mention Red Run, the Founders Club, this T-shirt I've got on here.
Yeah.
The girls, local girls, they've been running a very successful women's brand for quite some time. And now they brought out this range, which is called the Founders Club. And it's the T-shirt that I've got on. All the proceeds go to men's mental health. So, brilliant cause. And again, they've got another range. The first men's stuff they've actually done. Really decent T-shirts, but again, more than anything else, if you've got a bit of money, you're looking for a good T-shirt and you want to help out men's mental health, then get onto their website.
No better way to end it. Have a boss weekend.